Peace of mind is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to cope with it. Good afternoon to one and all. It's my privilege to welcome all of you to the fifth day of Super 7, which is a national web talk series in association with World Youth Skills Day organized by IQSC and College Union Advaya 2021 of Pete Memorial Training College, Mavelikara. A day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. Let's begin our formal session with prayer. Now I invite Ansi and Samuel for prayer song.
Lead kindly light amid the circling gloom. Lead thou me, O. The night is dark, and I am far from home. Lead thou me, O. Keep thou my feet, I do not ask to see the distant sea. One step enough for me.
Thank you, Ansi. Conflict is a normal and even healthy part of relationships. When conflict is mismanaged, it can harm the relationships. But when handled in a respectful and positive way, conflict provides an opportunity for growth, ultimately strengthening the bond between people. Now, I call upon Dr. Ali Moli Verghese, Assistant Professor of Pete Memorial Training College, for the welcome address.
Hello everyone. Greetings from Pete Memorial Training College, Mavelikara. This is the fifth day of our web talk series on life skills. Today we have Mr. Sony Thomas with us to speak about conflict resolution and stress management. As we all know, it is a much needed life skill. Now, I am not attempting to give a description about it as we are awaiting the views of Mr. Sony Thomas regarding the same. Mr. Sony is a multifaceted personality dealing with people of different age groups on different aspects. I have attended some of his talks on different subjects, and mainly his mode of presentation is interactive. And I hope you will also be able to feel the positive vibes of his inner energy. Thank you, Sony, for accepting our invitation and being with us today. I would also like to add that he is the son of a former manager and bishop of CSI Madhyakerala Diocese, Right Reverend Thomas K. Umman. Ramya will give you a detailed picture of our resource person. Mr. Sony, we are happy to have you as the resource person for the day. And on behalf of the principal, staff, and students of Pete Memorial Training College and all the delegates, I extend you a very warm welcome.
Thank you.
I would also like to welcome all the delegates from various parts of the country. Our principal, Dr. Mariama Matthew, who is the backbone and motivation behind all our activities. Dr. Velayudan Nair, the master brain behind the program. Dr. Sony Mary Verghese, the student convener Arya Ajidan. Vidya, the host of the day. Ramya, who is introducing our resource person. And Akhil Raj, who is proposing the vote of thanks. I also welcome all the academic and administrative staff of the college, all the college union members, and all our MEd and BEd students. A hearty welcome to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali ma'am. It's time to know more about our resource person. I invite Ms. Ramya Vivi, College Union Arts Club Secretary, for introducing the speaker.
Very good afternoon to the one and all gathered here. Honorable dignitaries, teachers, and dear friends, it's my tremendous honor to introduce our guest for today's program. We are indeed privileged to have noted speaker, trainer, coach, and consultant Mr. Sony Thomas as our chief guest. He is skilled in delivering a spectrum of people development technique. His experience in human resource management, organizational development, social action, positive psychology, and human behavior give content and context to his vision and strategies. He is a part of International John Maxwell team. He has years of experience as a life coach. He helps individuals, business, education institutes, startups, public and social organizations in matching their potential to performance by using various development techniques like mentoring, mastermind, experiential learning, motivational speaking, microblogs, podcast, webinar, and workshop. We feel really privileged to have you here, sir. On behalf of everyone gathered here, I thank you for accepting our invitation without any hesitation. We are really very grateful for this presence among us today. Without further ado, I welcome Mr. Sonny Thomas for delivering the session.
Thank you. That was a lovely introduction, and I'm truly, truly happy to be here in your midst. And truly, the reason I'm very happy today is because I have the opportunity to live close to where most of you are studying. That is one reason I'm very happy. The second reason is I'm getting an opportunity to pour into the heart of each of you who tomorrow would be touching so many lives. And that's why I'm so excited. So, thank you so much for this opportunity. Let me extend my warm gratitude to the organizers who thought of me. Let me extend a special gratitude to the hands, the heart, and the head that have made this day possible. You know, as much as I know, there is always a group of committed individuals who make these things happen. And let's give them a shout out. Um, I think all of you can use some clap or some thumbs up. If you can't find it, you can unmute yourself and give a round of applause for all the people who have worked to make this a reality. I think this would be where you would try to find out where the icon for thumbs up is. I got two thumbs up. I've got a clap. I'm still looking at the board. I'm still not seeing reactions. Okay, there we go. More people are reacting. Let's acknowledge and learn to appreciate. You know the crisis of the world? Forget conflict resolution. It's like we are ready to criticize, but very stingy with our appreciation. So, shall we appreciate the hands, the heart, and the head that has brought us all together today? Thank you. Thank you all for participating. And let me also take this opportunity to give a special shout out to each one of you for taking the time to be here. Right. I'm so happy that so many of you are there. I am looking at the screen. I can't see your faces, so I just see CR and some photos, but nonetheless, I'm able to see most of you. And I do not mind if you turn on your videos. It actually makes the interaction more joyful. So I have no problem with you all turning on your video, but I may have a problem with you turning on your audio if you are not in a quiet room. So if it's okay with you all, you can turn on your video. I would encourage you to do that so that I also feel that we are traveling together. Thank you. Thank you for people who are turning them on. And trust me, don't worry about it. All of you are smart. Trust me when I tell you, right? All of you are handsome and all of you are beautiful. So be proud of who you are and put yourself out in the world, right? I know if it was Instagram, we would have been more happy to put ourselves out there. But yes, in a talk series, we would rather be sitting in the back. I do acknowledge that, right? Awesome. All right, let's get moving. So today's conversation that we would be having. Is something that is very, very close to my heart because conflict does consume. most many parts of our life. And I'm just excited to share with you how we can work through conflicts so that you can have a more meaningful life, right? uh, Not so long ago, I think most of you might be in the demography that might understand what I'm sharing. Not so long ago, do you remember something called video stores? I know it's not too long ago. Video stores, thumbs ups, any thumbs ups, right? Carry on, as you can keep giving thumbs ups and yes and okay. I encourage participation, right? There was something called as video stores for people who have no idea. This is where we go to the shop and select a DVD or a video or a VCR or a CD to watch movies, right? And if my memory serves me right, we used to spend 50 to maybe somewhere between 100 rupees for uh, renting these videos to watch movies, right? Um, and I think with the dawn of media streaming, that all of you are aware of, Netflix, Hotstar, Amazon, yes? Thumbs ups? You can give me a thumbs up, right? Thank you, Dr. Mariama, for participating with me. I just love it. Sandra, Shabna, Ramya, Cheryl, thank you, Parvati, for joining me in the journey, right? See, it's very simple. We can have today's session in two ways. Trust me, just like each of you are teachers, I'm also a teacher at heart. And teachers love to talk, love to explain again, love to say it again, right? So I would love to talk for the next 1.5 hours. We can do it that way, or you can participate with the Ansi, thank you. Merin, thank you. Yeah, thank you for all those inputs. I'm loving it. I'm loving the energy. Thank you so much, right? Yeah. So coming back to video stores, once the dawn of Netflix and all have started, the cost of watching entertainment has plummeted. Like from 100 rupees per CD, we have come to maybe 199 or 129 rupees for a month of watching unlimited content, right? Just imagine that, right? So the cost has come down tremendously, right? That was one of the benefits. The second benefit is we don't have the hassle of going to a place. I think in 3 clicks, you're set for a month. You just need to put in your pin and whatever, and you have got your account for 1 month. So that's how simple access to entertainment has become. And the last, and I think it's the favorite part for all of us, there is no late fee. Think about it. Where people who have rented videos, we have spent more time, more money on the late fee than actually the cost of renting the CD, right? Has anybody experienced that? I have paid more for the late fee than the DVD. If there is anybody, you can shout it out. You can say yes, yo, whatever you want. I'm looking at all of you, right? Awesome. All right. So when you budget your cost for the month, and this is a life skill that I'm sharing with you, it is best to have a budgeting process month and month. So I encourage you to have it. So when you budget your cost, how would you write it? In the entertainment column, you would write 199 rupees for a month of entertainment, media, or it could be Netflix, Hotstar, whatever, right? That's how we budget it. Absolutely correct. However, I would just like to turn your attention to something else, right? Imagine, just imagine for a minute, you're a consultant and you bill by the hour. That means an hour of your time will give you an amount of money, right? So imagine your hour of your time is 5,000 rupees, right? So an hour of your time is 5,000 rupees, right? If that is the case, when you watch 1 hour of media or entertainment, what is the cost that you incur? The cost that you incur is 5,000 plus 199. That is 5,199 is your cost. Think about it. When you do something that is not serving you, when you do something that is serving you to reach your potential and your success and your dream, your goals, whatever, when you reach there, your value of your time increases. And to money is a very simple concept to share. That's why I'm using money. But there are many elements that come into the value of time. But nonetheless, money is a tangible quantity. So if you were to do something that serves you, you would be your value of time would increase. And it is very important when I coach my clients in their journey in leadership or in life or in conflict resolution. One thing I help them understand is their value of time, because when you understand the value of your time, you can reach your potential. Because at the end of the day, What is time? Time is life. Think about it. Tick tock. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your time is your life. Right? Now, you might be wondering, why am I talking about media streaming, and why am I talking about potential, and why am I talking about value of time when we are here for conflict resolution? I think all of you are in some kind of conflict, right? I think Merin said exactly. I think she's also wondering why I'm talking about all of this. Very good that you asked. The reason is, in a conflict, just like this monthly expense of 199 rupees, the hidden cost in any conflict is much higher than the cost of the conflict. So the precipitating problem, people who are from psychology background would understand the presenting problem or the precipitating problem, whichever you want to say it. That problem or that event is very small when compared to the underneath or the implicit or the hidden cost of any conflict. So that's where I wanted to turn your attention to, right? So far, so good. Are you all with me? Right? So in coaching, yeah, whenever I ask, are you all with me? Yes, I get yes. I love yeses and the thumbs up that comes my way. That just energizes me. And once you, most of you, some of you are teachers and some of you are studying for teaching. Once you go to class and you start teaching, trust me, the energy you get because somebody is saying yes, ma'am, yes, miss, yes, teacher, or yes, sir, that energy is awesome. So I'm just loving the energy coming my way. Thank you so much for the love and the participation, right? All right. So in my coaching practice, another thing, the other thing that I take an extra effort to do is to understand. See, when I'm helping somebody, the best way I can help somebody is when I understand them better. So I spend a lot of time understanding. I know we are a big group of 100 plus people, and I may not be able to understand you on a one to one or even on a small level. But nonetheless, I was wondering if we can share in the chat box what does each of you mean by conflict? Like your first thought that comes to you when you think of the word conflict, because some people have different emotions, different experience, different understanding of conflict. I from the Super 7 fraternity, I get friction, a lovely word. I just love that word, friction. Yes. What are your thoughts? Any words that come to your mind, just drop it in the chat box. What is conflict to you? Difference in opinion. Thank you. I think, yeah, one more person with my name. I love it. It's always a joy to find somebody else with my own name, right? And I think this Sony is a lady, and I'm doubly happy to find a lady version of my name. So I'm very happy to get your feedback as well. Thank you. Frustration, friction, argument or fight. Loving it, loving it. So all of you are, it seems, very well versed with conflict. So you all understand what conflict is. And when I was listening to the welcome also, I was like, all right, my job here is done. The person who welcomed, who was it? I could not quite, Binita. No, is it? Bit,
Vidya.
Bithia,
Ramya.
Bithia. Bithia, you have just summarized my whole session. Thank you for that. You made my job a lot more easier. So thank you for that, right? All right, moving forward. Let me just share three different sentences that I found on conflict. I think some of you have already shared it. One is a serious disagreement or argument which goes on for a long time. That's you would have noticed, or if you have not noticed, please do make a what do you say, an attention to this. That is, at home when we have a argument, let's say between parents, the parents are fighting, or the parents and the child, or let it be, if there is a conflict at home, forget the word conflict, if there is an argument at home, if you have noticed, the whole environment becomes different. The ecosystem in the home becomes different. See, my own experience, I'm not going to talk in third person. Let me speak from my own experience. When my wife and I have an argument, and trust me, there are arguments because we are extremely two different people, right? And most of you who are married would understand that extreme difference comes with the territory. So we are extremely different. We do have arguments, right? Sometimes it escalates into conflict also. But what I'm trying to say over here is, uh, in that argument, we can either choose to build our relationship forward, or we can tear down our relationship. And that's why I keep saying that conflict is a choice. It is a choice whether you want to tear up the relationship or you want to build the relationship, right? Now, if you were to put a word to the feeling that you get when your home has gone out of bounds, or it has gone out of the parallel, do you have any words that you can describe it? Like, your parents are fighting or you are fighting with your spouse, the whole ecosystem of the house goes for a toss. Do you have any words that comes to your mind? Like, the ecosystem is gone, like any words that come to your mind? How do you feel? Suffocating, lovely, Anju, I love that, I love that. Disturbed, lovely, I'm loving the answers, I'm loving the answers. Yeah, absolutely, it is disturbing, it is frustrating, suffocating. Hell, okay, very strong word. All right, irritable, imbalanced, choking. I'm loving it, you guys are spot on in the way you're answering, I'm loving it, right? So I'm just going to share a word that came to me. I think it might summarize, or it might bring some more meaning. um, if you have noticed, these army people, whenever they are protecting a territory, they create a minefield in front of the wall, right? In front of their wall. And that minefield is, for, I think everybody knows, like, you step on the minefield, you blow up and die, right? So when we are at conflict at home and the equilibrium in the home goes for an imbalance, I feel that we might feel as if we are walking on minefield, or in a simpler way, we're walking on eggshells. That means any wrong spark can blow up the place. Are you with me? Does that make sense? Minefield, conflict, minefield, does it make sense? Right? Yes. So minefield is what we are feeling, or if I were to put a word to it, minefield is what we are feeling when we are in an environment of conflict, right? Thank you for relating with me. I'm glad that I'm not the only one feeling in a minefield, right? Now, you might think this is only true at home. No, this is true at workplace also, right? See, there is a myth that we all live. We live in the myth that work is separate and life is separate. No, you only have one life, just one life. Whether you're at work, whether you're with yourself, whether you're at home, you're with your friends, you only have one life. Many a times we compartmentalize it without understanding how it spills over, right? So one of my coaching clients, she was having a difficulty with her boss because she was passed off for a promotion, and she was somebody who was junior to her was given the promotion, and she was finding it very difficult, and we were working through it. And she was feeling the same thing. She was feeling like she was on a minefield. She was feeling like she was under a microscope. She was feeling as if people were looking down at her, right? And because of this, her productivity and her performance was going out for a toss, right? Her quality of life was at home was getting affected, right? So at home and at work, whether wherever you are, you can feel like a minefield when you are in the middle of a long standing conflict. Does that make sense so far? Are you with me? Thumbs up, are you with me? Yes. If there are any doubts or any thoughts that are sparked as I'm sharing with you, what I have come to know is that there is a team that is following up with the questions that you post, because I may not be able to take down the questions immediately. There is a group of students. Thank you for that. Thank you for helping me out, taking down the questions, and towards the Q&A session, we can answer it, or in between, when we pause, maybe one of you can tell me the question if it is relevant to the content that I'm sharing, and maybe I'll address it and move forward, whichever way, right? So if there are any questions, just post it there, and the people who are moderating it, if you feel that you can, if this is the right time to ask that question, just unmute yourself and say, Sony, there's a question, can you address it so people can get better clarity? I would love to do that as well, right? So, in one of my past jobs, I was fired, right? Yeah, even I've had that experience of getting fired, right? It's not a pleasant feeling, but right, I was also fired. Now, you might be wondering, Sony, you were that bad to get fired? No, absolutely not. I was a star performer. And when I say when I was the star performer, it was um, Generally in that organization, to do a particular task, they have to wait for 1 year on a bench before they can do that particular task. I did it in 2 months, right? That's how how good I was at my work. My team lead was exceptionally happy with me. My colleagues, I used to be I was slightly the elder one in the team, so I used to give them advice. We had a good rapport. We used to go for lunch, all of that. But I was fired, right? And I can still remember how I felt that day. Like, I can remember it. The emotions have come down, but I can feel. I think I felt angry, unfair, and I was still trying to figure out, why was I fired. I still don't understand, right? Now, why I'm sharing this with you is, if you can take a moment, just take a moment, close your eyes if that would help, and relive a painful event. I encourage you to take a moment and think of one experience that's still close to your heart, that hurt you, or there was a conflict, there was a pain, there was a difference of opinion or a struggle within your mind. Whatever that feeling is, if you can just not down. Like, for me, it was anger and feeling unfairly treated. That was my feeling. You can also share your feelings in the chat box. Just think about one, any memory. And if you don't have any painful event, all I can tell you is, as you go forward in life, I am quite sure you might stumble upon one or two. So I'm very happy all of you are having a great time. Ansi said pathetic. Yep, I understand how that feels. Thank you for that. Right? Being disrespected, absolutely. Indifference, absolutely. Spot on, spot on. Thank you. Right? All right. Isolated. Yeah, that's a very strong word. Yes, isolated. Very true. Very true. Yeah. Lovely words, lovely words. I'm so glad you're able to understand and put words to your undervalued, yes, desperate, misunderstood or misunderstanding. Absolutely, right? So, I've had my share of conflict in life, right? My people who know me from young can vouch for the fact when I say that I have been in a lot of conflicting situations. So I've been at the same time deception. I love that word, rugma, right? Deception. Absolutely right. That's a very strong word, right? What I have learned by observing different conflicts in my life, and definitely in other people's life, and also through helping my clients with their conflict, is conflict can't be avoided. As the person who welcomed the session today, conflict can't be avoided. But as I mentioned, you can choose how you respond to it. And the second part is, you can choose how fast you want to bounce back from it. Because how you respond and how you bounce back from it will define how much of your life is going to be saved. Or to put it in another way, how expensive that conflict was will depend on your response and how fast you bounce back. Right? Conflict is expensive, right? As I was sharing about the 199 of the media streaming monthly price, the moment of conflict is the smallest item in the conflict, because it sucks us into a wormhole and our peace of mind consumes our life. The cost of conflict is paid in the currency of your life, that is, in the currency of your time, right? Conflict is a choice. That is the title of our session today. And I've already mentioned why conflict is a choice. uh, just like many things in life, conflict is a choice. That means you decide, you choose whether to pay for a day of conflict, or subscribe for the monthly package of conflict, or take an annual plan. I know many people, especially there was a time I did counseling and therapy. Many a times when I interact with family therapy and other aspects, I know this is so cliche and everybody has used this example. I think all the five speakers before me would have also used this example, the ancient and ongoing feud between the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law, right? And many a times people have intentionally subscribed for annual subscription plan, right? It's unfortunate, but that's the reality, right? uh, there's a question, why do certain people become very aggressive when encountering conflict? Okay, the question went away. Please make a note of it. I'll address it later, because I've got all of your faces, and I've got the chat box here also. I think I'll put the chat box. Yeah, it's there. Yeah. All right, coming back. So I once had a friend called Joshua, right? He was a tall and lean, much smarter than me. But unlike me, he was like, unlike me, because I'm average height and my size, my shape is round. He's tall and lean, right, and much smarter than me, right? But we both had something very, very common, and that is we had passion. We had passion to help people. That's what brought us together. We were like we want to change the world, right? And I'm talking early parts of 2000, when we came together, and we started a training and coaching and organization development consultancy. Few of us came together and started it, and we were committed. And when I say, every time I remember, when I think about this memory, it pains my heart, because we were at the horizon of a new era. Just before us was the HR recruiting era, where consultancy was booming to start recruitment. And as that was weaning off, training was the next big thing, later part of 2000s. And we started young. We were young, fresh out of college, and we started this. We were passionate like anything. We would go long hours. I have gone, because we could not afford. I used to only have one meal a day, right? Because we just did not have the money to have three times food, because we had to travel. We had to take the training cost. We were not getting the salaries, because we were just starting off. We were making our mark. So I remember going on only having one meal a day, a proper meal a day, and just some kind of small snacks. We have suffered and struggled like that, right? But unfortunately, we had to part ways because there was a conflict. And till this day, it pains our heart, because we strongly believe, had we been able to work through our conflict, we would have been trendsetters in the personal growth space in India. No doubt about it. That's how good we were, in terms of we had specialists in each area, in content design, content development, in delivery, in marketing. We had strong people in these areas. But sometimes it's not our competency that is enough, right? and and I don't know, I'm not getting into the details of the conflict, but the pain of loss is even real for us. And every time we speak, we have still, we have mitigated our conflict, and we are in talking terms. Most of us are, and few of us are better friends now. So whenever we get that opportunity to speak, we have not started to do anything together again, but we are still in conversation tone. And whenever we speak, we always say this: we would have been trend centers, and we feel bad about it. Now, this experience made us realize something in life, right? It made me realize about something about conflict. And there are three things that I want to bring to your notice. And that is, conflict happens because lack of understanding of how the world works. Conflict happens because there's a lack of understanding of a subject knowledge. And thirdly, conflict happens because there's a lack of self-awareness, right? These are big sentences which has different meanings, but I'll just take you through a journey, and we will try to unpack this as much as we can. It is 2:30 now. I forgot to ask when I should stop. Can somebody just shout out when I should stop?
You could take any time between 60 and 90 minutes, sir.
All right, so that means 60 and 90 minutes. I started roughly at 2:15, right? So 3:15, 3:30, right? Is my calculation correct? Yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that. All right, so what we learned the hard way, when I use the word understanding of how the world works, what we learned the hard way was, passion is not enough for success. Passion is just not enough. Even competency is not enough, right? Now, again, some of you might be wondering, where am I going with this? Think about this, right? I think as kids, I think at least one time our parents would have told us, "You don't know how the world works. So listen to what I say." At least once. My parents have told me few times, but then again, the person that I have not listened to them, right? Most of you, right? Yes, at least one time your parents have said, "You don't know how the world works. So listen to what I say," right? So what I'm bringing to your notice is, how the world works is a very complex thing. We are not opening up everything about it. But one thing I want to reiterate is, as youngsters, we are driven by passion, right? And passion consumes us, it blinds us. And we think passion is enough and the world works on passion, right? Yes, passion is required. I'm not getting into that. But what I want to bring to your attention is many times the conflict in our lives can be attributed to our blind passion, right? Just to eliminate this eliminate this thought. My son, he's 5 now, and he loves dinosaurs. He started off loving farm animals, then he moved into wild animals. Now he's bonkers for dinosaurs, right? So every time he holds his dinosaurs close to his, I love my dinosaur, I love my dinosaur, right? So one day I'm like, uh, what do you mean you love your dinosaur, right? And I asked him, uh, do you do you love the dinosaurs and do you love me on the same line? Is it the same love, right? I know to asking this question to a 5-year-old is crazy, but then again, the teacher in me and the coach in me cannot stop doing stuff like this. So he thought for a moment and he's like, no, I love you more, right? And what I shared with him is, right, why don't you start using different words for expressing your love for certain things that are not the biggest in your love? Because by default, because we are so passionate, everything is love. I love the ice cream, I love my parents, both love are the same, right? So I was just trying to help him understand that. So why I'm sharing this with you is many times we are so passionate in a situation, and our lack of understanding how the world works, that is passion is not everything, does put us in the crosshairs of conflict. And many youngsters go through this in their particularly marriage time or their job selection time or career changing time. Many times this conflict with parents particularly happen in this area. With your friends also, because of passion, many times there are conflicts, right? Just to reiterate the importance of understanding the world works differently, and passion is not everything. Again, passion is important. I have lived my life with passion, and I do this because I'm passionate. Yes, it comes at a cost. That conversation is for a different topic. But passion is not everything, and the world doesn't completely work on passion, right? So one of my cousins recently, I think she's 25 something, and I was telling her, she's been interacting with me for many years, and she knows that I am a coach in personal growth and success, and she knows that I'm with John Maxwell International, and I have the no, what do you say, the proprietary right to use their content on personal growth. And John Maxwell's content is the leading content in personal growth, leadership, and communication, right? So I have the freedom to use it, and I do conduct programs on personal growth and success, right? So recently I'm conducting a program, and I was like, and she spoke to me recently, and I'm like, I found her to be in a crossroad, right? And I was like, okay, maybe this content would help her, and she cannot afford the program that I run. So I told her, you have it for free, you just come join the program. It is an autonomous program wherein which my interventions are not there, so don't worry about it, right? And I said this to her, and her response just took me by shock. She's like, I'm not in the right space to work on this or take up a program like this, right? Now,
Hello.
even though it shocked me, I'm not surprised, because I can guarantee you somebody in when I was young would have said, Sony, why don't you read this
Okay,
book,
you're done.
it would help you. And I was like, no, I don't have time for reading this book, right? Absolutely, I would have done that. My remembering myself, I would have done that, no doubt about it. So I'm not surprised she responded like this. But what I'm trying to share or bring to your notice is there are opportunities like this that misses our way, because right now our passion is for something else, or our interest is for something else, or the way we see the world is very different, or how we see the world working is very different, right? So I wanted to bring that to your notice, and that is one of the greatest challenges that we struggle with, right? In terms of subject knowledge, in every conflict there is a subject knowledge. Like for example, in our business problem, the problem was we never understood what leadership was. We did not understand that leadership was influence. We thought leadership was a position. We had many misunderstanding about how running a business is, the nitty-gritties. So they were expertise in delivery, they were expertise in training, but they weren't an expert in running the business, which is an expert area, right? So many times we are in the midst of a conflict because we actually don't have the subject knowledge, or our subject knowledge is limited, right? So great, get more subject knowledge, right? So that's the second thing that I wanted to bring to your notice. Are you all with me? I know I've been speaking for quite some time. Would you like me to take up a question now, or would you like me to continue? I can do it either ways, because there's a question that has been in the chat box. Let me just look at it. I got a yes, sir, and I got an as you wish. What a diplomatic answer. Now the ball is back in my court again. All right, awesome. All right. The question is, what are conflicts faced by teachers in COVID pandemic world? Is conflict necessary to lead a good life? All right. So the first question I would not take up right now, because that is a completely different conversation, because we are looking at a specific area, and that specific area would take technical aspects into consideration, health aspects into consideration, and all of those things. So I'm not taking that up, at least in this, because it'll eat up into our time. Is conflict necessary for a good life? In one word, yes. But if you remember what I said, how you respond is what is important. So what I mean by that is, maybe conflict is a very strong word, but arguments, disagreements, dialogues, and different point of views, and even struggling different emotions are important, because that's what grows us as a person. Just imagine, we had no arguments or difference of thoughts in our head, and everything was streamlined. Life would not be so flavorable. Just think about it. The meaning of a smile is because there's something called as a frown. If there weren't a frown, smile would not make sense, right? So I know it sounds very philosophical, but yes, conflict is necessary. But what is not necessary is that we choose to tear down another person. Conflicts, the purpose of a conflict, if you really rework on the understanding of conflict, and we use it to build our relationship, conflicts are good. But the objective of conflict, as we go through the session, you would understand, there would be a question, there's an exercise that we would be doing. As we do the exercise, you will understand, if the objective of your conflict is to belittle, to embarrass, to hurt, to bring down, to character assassinate a person, then conflict is bad, right? I hope that question does bring some clarity to your question. Thank you for that question, Akila, right? Akil, sorry, Akil. Thank you for the question, right? All right. Moving forward. By the way, are you all with me? No, I have not reached any thumbs up or yes for some time. So yes or thumbs up, just to encourage me, to keep me going. All right. I'm getting some yes. Thank you for that. Right. All right. So there was a very sad thing that happened. Okay, in human history, there's so many sad things that happen, but this is particularly very sad, because when you listen to the solution to this problem, you would feel what a dumb species we are, right? I think during the 1800s, in the European countries, particularly I think UK and all, there were a lot of death of women after giving birth, right? It's just spiked. It wasn't unheard of until recent years. Women dying of childbirth was kind of a common thing. I know it's unfortunate to say, but yes. But the death just increased. It just went off the charts, like exploded, right? And the doctors they could not find the solution to the problem. This was in 1800s, right? So there was this Hungarian doctor, I can't pronounce his name as appropriately, Ignace Semilivis or something, right? I'm sorry, I apologize. The Dr. Ignace, he solved the mystery. You see, during the 1800s, it was known as the golden age of physicians, like physicians becoming scientists. They were doing research, right? So moving from a world of treating based on some kind of thoughts or ideas, treatment were backed by research. So what, to study human beings, the first place to do research is anatomy. So we had a lot of doctors conducting autopsies in the morning to study about the human body, and then conducting deliveries, right? Now, this Dr. Ignace found out this relation, The relation that a doctor who does the autopsy in the morning would have cadaver particles stuck, fine particles stuck on his hands, his or her hands. And then when he or she goes to do the delivery, the woman gets infected and she dies. This was called the childbed fever. It was called the childbed fever, right? The solution was very simple. Wash your hands with chlorine. During that time, chlorine was the most easily available thing. Wash your hands with chlorine, right? And you would imagine that uh, the rest of the world was so happy and they clapped for Dr. Ignis and they awarded him and all that. No, the opposite happened. What they did was they they belittled him. They destroyed his career. He had to leave his job and he died in a mental asylum. That's how they destroyed their life, because people cannot accept that they are the problem. The minute the doctors accept that I am the reason why people were dying, they could not accept, because I am not the problem. In every conflict, you can see this. This is a plague that is common in every conflict. People just cannot accept I am the problem. Does that make sense? I am the problem. Does that make sense? Yes? In every conflict, I am not the problem. That is the problem. Moving forward, there's something else that is very intertwined with I am not the problem. This is called even the loss. In every conflict, what we do is we try to even the loss. What I mean by that is to put a proverb into place: an eye for an eye. Then how does a conflict end? If everybody says I am not the problem, and if everybody says he took so much, I have so much loss, so I have to make him pay, how can we ever resolve a problem? So I am not the problem and even the loss are two of the very, very strong behaviors or characteristics that can be found throughout. I can actually very boldly use all conflicts, right? I think this example, or this point is well highlighted in one of the movies. There are many movies that highlight it, but this movie really caught my attention. The movie is called The Kingdom. This is a Hollywood movie that is based in Saudi Arabia, based on the incidents of the 1996 bombing in the housing colonies, the petrol complex housing colonies. They took that real life story and made it into a movie. So when the movie opens up, you see the lead actor telling the other actor that something in the ears, right? Because the other actor's husband died in the complex. So she's grief stricken and she's so angry. And the lead actor, I think it is Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx and the second actor is Jennifer Gardner. Jamie Foxx tells to Jennifer Gardner something in the ears. We don't know what he says, right? And then the whole movie proceeds. And the movie ends with them taking justice for the bombing by going and killing the people who bombed the colony, and they kill all the men in that building, whoever they could find they killed. And there was a little girl, right? And she's weeping and she's crying, and her mother is sitting there and looking at the dead body of their husbands and children and all of that. And she says something in Arabic, right? And then both scenes from the beginning and the end scenes come together, and they show what they say is, don't fear them, my child, we are going to kill them all. Let me repeat that. Don't fear them, my child, we are going to kill them all. Which means the cycle never ends. We are all trying to make up for the loss, even out the loss. Where does conflict end? Where does conflict end? So far so with me? Is there, I saw yeah, again the question has come. Tell me about, are you all with me? Don't fear my child, we are going to kill them all. That's where I stopped. Are you all with me? Right, awesome. There's a question that has come. Tell me about conflict in online classes today. Again, these are very, like, This is a technical conversation. If you're talking about technical online conflicts, it's a technical conflict conversation. But if it's a presentation thing, it is universal. That is about teaching skill sets and teaching how you present. Like I said, if I take that up, that's going to be a bigger conversation. Let's again, I'm sorry I won't be able to address that in depth, but the conflict comes because in a simplest form, differing interest. Simple. The teacher finds it difficult. Like, for example, right now I'm looking at a blank screen with A, C, V, J, S, a smiley face, a book. I'm not seeing any one of you, so I don't even know what is your reaction. So there itself, I'm starting with a conflict within myself. Am I good enough? Am I reaching to them? In my mind, I'm in a state of chaos because I don't know if I'm able to reach you, right? So that is one of the conflicts. The other is this person sitting on the other side has no interest to be here, like in many classes. So that's a conflict, but they are forced to sit. Like for my son, he just doesn't like to be online. He's 5 and some classes happen for him. He's like, I want to go to school. So what can you do? So differing interests. So I know that's not the complete answer, Akhil, you might be looking for, but a part of your answer lies in what I've shared right now. Hope that was sufficient. If not, we can take this up later because that's a bigger topic, right? So far, so good. We have reached 250 and I have about 25, 30 minutes left, right? All right. So far we looked at conflict. We looked at different areas of conflict. If you can remember, can somebody remember the highlights of what I shared? One was evening out the loss. Does anybody want to contribute in the chat box with what you have learned so far? Thank you, Pavitra, for that encouraging message. I just love it. Thank you for that. Class is very interesting. I just love it. Thank you so much, Parvati, for that. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Thank you. All right. Any thoughts? I think I spoke about I am not the problem. I spoke about we try to even out the loss. I spoke about the lack of understanding about how the world functions, particularly from a passion point of view. I spoke about um, I spoke about subject knowledge, and I slightly touched upon self-awareness. I am not the problem is a concept of self-awareness. I'm not getting in too detail into self-awareness because it is part of personal growth, and today's topic is not completely on personal growth, but self-awareness is one of the pillars for success. The more you are aware of yourself, you will be more ready to reach your potential. Many times people are not able to reach their potential because they're not aware of who they are, where they are, and where they are going, right? So in terms of personal growth, there's one element is called character. How do you grow your character? The other element is called how competency, that is about subject expertise, because as you want to reach your potential, you need to grow your skill set. And I think the most easiest personal growth, like whenever I talk to people about personal growth, the first answer that comes is, I want to take up a course, I want to get up a certification. Absolutely spot on. Upskilling your knowledge and your skill is part of personal growth, but we all forget the other elements. One is called developing your character. Character is like your operating system. It defines how you see the world, how you respond. More than see the world, how you respond to the world. Then comes your ability to connect. um, how we connect with people, how do we grow our relationship. When you look at it, people who are very young, like young children, all right, when they want, like, they don't care. Like my son is very blunt on the face, I don't want to talk to you, or I'm doing something right now. But what happens is, as we grow, we understand that to maintain relationships, we have to be more diplomatic. But there are people who don't grow that ability. They will still behave maybe a little bit more polished, but their intention is the same. I don't want to talk to you, right? So I'm not getting into details of that. That is the next area. And the last is self-awareness. The more you are aware about yourself, the better you can design your life. And if you notice, I use the word design your life, because life is in your hands to design, right? All right, so far so good. Are we good? Thumbs ups. All right, moving forward. uh, Now, how do we resolve conflict? right? I always remember, or I always, this image comes to my mind, right? I think this was a WhatsApp forward. Have you noticed, like, there are two people standing on two sides, right? There are two people standing on two sides, and there is a drawing in the middle, right? So this person sees that drawing as 6, and this person sees the drawing as 9. Have you seen that meme? Have you seen that meme? Yes, I think it's a very common meme. Yes. So person sitting on this side with standing on this side sees it as 6, and the person standing on this side sees it as a 9, right? And many a times most conflicts are like this, right? uh, it is that we hold on to the fact that I am right. The need for being right is many times at the epicenter of conflicts, right? And I'm not saying that we have to be a doormat and allow other people to always impose their point of views on you. But like I said, you can either respond to tear down, or you can respond to build a relationship. And what I've understood about relationship is, you want to build a relationship and come out of a conflict, you have to be willing to let go of the need to being right. Many conflict resolution can start with just accepting, I don't need to be right. We are, I don't know, it's in our human nature. We just want to be right. If somebody says something that is, that we perceive that is affecting my identity, we go with tooth and claw. We want to be right. It's human nature. I don't know how come. That might be the collective demon that we as human race suffer. We want to be right. Not only we want to be right, we believe we are right, right? Because of this, many times conflict resolution doesn't happen. So if at all, uh, if at all we believe that we want to be right, conflict resolution does take time to resolve, right? So let's do an exercise if you're all with me. So this is something called, this is a step program. And Martin Seligman, the pioneer in positive psychology, because psychology was going into always, what do you say, defining and classifying the psychological problems and actually looking at who are well adjusted. So he is the one who proponed or revitalized positive psychology, and he has come out with certain things. This is pretty simple. So he's got a very nice exercise, and I thought I'll take you all through it. We have about 15 minutes, and we can do it quite quickly, right? um, Yes, Dr. Mariama Matthew has said what is right may be wrong for others. Yes, that is called that. That is absolutely what I'm trying to get at. Thank you for putting it so lovely. Yes, it is true. What is right for us might be wrong for them. And right and wrong, as I conclude, I would be sharing about worldviews a little bit if time allows. As they say, there is your story, my story, and the true story. Many a times we are all in this mix, right? That's why I said lack of understanding of how the world works, lack of subject knowledge, lack of self-awareness. These are the reasons why your story is there, my story is there, and the true story is there. Anyway, jumping into the exercise. So what I'm going to do is, you can take, uh, one is called slow down. So whenever you are in a conflict place, first you slow down, because many times it is our reaction to a situation that messes up our situation even worse. If you can slow down, you can actually control the situation better. So the first I want to share with you is slow down. Now, what does slow down mean? Now, I know all of you understand the word slow down, but let me share two kind of feelings. It is called the cool feelings and the hot feelings, right? So what I'm going to do over here is, I'm going to read out a sentence, right? uh, and once I read out the sentence, you can share with me, what is the cool thought, what is the hot thought over here, right? Let me just find that. Yeah, here we go. I'm here. I'm ready. Shall I? Are you ready for me? I will read out the hot thought, and you can tell me what is the cold thought, right? I'm just sharing this again. Slow down. So what I said, one of the way to mitigate conflict is to slow down. And when you slow down, what you need to observe is your, are you having hot thoughts or are you having cold thoughts? Sorry, cool thoughts, because hot thoughts is what makes you reactionary, right? So this is the example. You arrive at a place you were supposed to meet your friends when you are coming back from school. Okay, because I'm taking childhood examples, because that is a universal example. You arrive at the place where you were supposed to meet your friends when you are coming back from school. Maybe it might be a bakery, it might be the bus stand, or it might be a corner of a street. It can be anywhere, right? None of them are there, right? You wait for 5 more minutes, but they still don't come. Firstly, let me ask, has somebody experienced this? You can say yes, thumbs up, where people stood you up. They said they will be at the bus stand, they would be at the corner, they would be at the bakery, they would be at the train station, God knows, right? Yeah, I'm getting so many yes. So this example is perfect, right? And you wait and you wait. Now, when you wait, definitely your brain is going in overdrive, right? Your hot thought, they ditched me, they ignored me, they don't like me. These are the first hot thoughts, right? First hot thoughts. Now, in the chat box, what can be the cool thoughts according to you? What can be the cool thoughts? The hot thought is they ditched me, they went somewhere else without me. What could be the cool thoughts? Anju said they may be just reaching. Good, Anju, thank you for that. I hope they might be caught up with some assignment. Oh, wow. Lovely, cool thoughts. Lovely, cool thought. Might be stuck in traffic in Bangalore. Absolutely true. Stuck in traffic. They have any. Oh, Shiva. No, I think, yeah, Shiva. That is beautiful. They are going to surprise me. I love that. They had some problem while they were on the way. Beautiful. They're here to give me surprise. Two people surprise. Two people traffic. Assignment. Three people. Yeah, all of you are studying, so a lot of assignments are coming up. Bus might be late. Right. Awesome. Give yourself a round of applause. Lovely. All of you are aware of cool thoughts. Now here is the $1 billion question. Do you slow down to ask yourself or tell yourself the cool thoughts, or do you react with the hot thoughts? That's the $1 billion question. All of you, from a intellectual point of view, answered the question. The question was, what do you do? And all of you gave me brilliant answers about cool thoughts. The question is, do you practice slowing down, right? So that's something that I got an answer for Shapna, depending on the person, right? We're not getting into the nitty gritties, but I like where you're what you're thinking. I agree with you, but in a overview, in a general point of view, what I'm trying to share with you is slow down. Take an intentional effort to slow down. And human beings, all psychologists have said this, at least most psychologists have said this, the first thought a human being thinks is negative. Like, if I don't call my mother when I was a child, the first thing she thinks is I met with an accident. Yeah, finally I did meet with an accident one day, but what I'm trying to say is that the 100 times she thought that I met with an accident, I only met with one. So 99% of the time I was okay, right? So what I'm trying to say is that we are wired to be negative. So the first thought generally is the hot thought, right? Unless you have become a monk and you are in some level of Zen, right? So whenever your hot thought comes, take an effort to slow it down, take a deep breath, and try to find the cool thoughts. I love the cool thoughts that you have shared over here. I'm loving it. Thank you so much for the cool thoughts. Apply it in your life, right? So you have taken one step. I'm giving you one step you can take in your life. Now, to complement that step, let's do the next exercise. Are you ready? The next exercise? Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So this is called, next is called perspective taking, right? Earlier we were saying about right and wrong. So this is where perspective taking comes place, right? So what perspective taking means is very simple. What it means is that for a minute, you take yourself and think from their point of view. It is impossible to do, I know, because we just don't want to take another person's point of view. Now, the reason I use the word impossible is, if our thought is that I want to be right, I have to be right, I am right, I am not the problem, there is no way on heaven and hell that you would take a moment to see the other person's perspective. That's just the reality. So when you're willing to let go that I can be a problem, I don't need to be right, then it will become easier for you to take up the perspective of the other person, right? So I'm going to recite a perspective, and you can share with me what each person might be, what might be their perspective, right? Let me read it. I'll read it now. Betsy, Robert, and Dennis live in the same neighborhood. Betsy is a couple of years younger than Robert, but they all hang out together after school. You might have had friends. You might not be in the same school, but you come to the neighborhood and you play together, right? So that's a story that I'm sharing about. One night there was a there was a big storm, snowstorm, and there was a lot of snow, right? And in places like Shimla and all, people do play with snow. Like they make snowman, snowballs, and they throw at each other. It's a very common game children play. So and down south in Mediterranean places, Mediterranean places, we throw stones and throw sand at each other and play also, but it's a little bit more dangerous than throwing snowballs, right? So one night after this, the kids started playing. So Betsy, being the younger, Robert, who's older, his friends started picking on Betsy, right? And Robert and Dennis laughed. And Betsy got very angry. Why didn't they are my friends and somebody else came to was disturbing me, and why didn't they defend me or whatever? Later that day, Robert and Dennis had gone to Betsy's home to call her for playing, but she was angry. She slammed the door on Robert's face. Robert was sad and Dennis seems to be angry. So this is the context of the story. So, according to you, each of you will have different perspective. Why did Betsy slam the door? What was she thinking? Let's take Betsy's perspective first. Why do you think Betsy slammed the door? What was she thinking? Any thoughts? Betsy is the younger one. She was the one who was picked on by Robert's friend, and Robert, Dennis, and Betsy were friends, and Betsy was are upset with Robert and Dennis. She was annoyed. They cornered her. She was bullied. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Trust on others. Yes, trust. So all these are perspective that Betsy is holding. That my trust was broken. I was bullied and my friends did not stand up with me. I was cornered and my two friends who I hang out every day did not stand up for me. This is Betsy's thought, and it's true. She has all right to think like that, right? Her expectation disappointed her. Absolutely. Super 7, I don't know who's behind that name, but that's a lovely answer. Her expectation. That's another beautiful word in life. Expectation. Many conflicts, many heartaches, many pain in life can be attributed to this one word, expectation. So thank you for that word. I love that word, right? All right. So now let's look at why did Robert and Dennis laugh? What was he thinking? Why did Robert laugh, and what was he thinking? Any thoughts? Let's try to see Robert's perspective, because Robert definitely did not see her perspective that he had to stand up for her or protect her or anything. Any thoughts on why Robert laughed with Dennis? What was he thinking? Any thoughts? All right. I think Robert's thoughts we are not able to see. He thought she's enjoying. Oh wow, lovely, Shapna. Thank you for that. Yeah, maybe he thought that she was enjoying it. I don't know. We don't know, right? He found it funny. He just found the situation funny. Absolutely brilliant, Divya. Thank you for that. Um, for fun, yeah, absolutely. So maybe Robert thought only that much. Why did Dennis get angry? What was she thinking when what do you say? Betsy slammed the door on the face of Robert and Dennis. Dennis, why was Dennis upset? Why was she angry or he was angry? What was she thinking? Any thoughts? This is the third character in the story. What's the thoughts? Any thoughts? Felt insulted. Thank you for that. He felt disrespected. Yes, very strong feeling. Disrespected. He did not expect this reaction. Yes, again, lovely word, expectation. He forgot about the situation. Yeah, for all you know, Dennis, she was like, okay, that was over, and she didn't even take it seriously. And when somebody slams the door on your face, obviously you'll get angry, right? Afraid of the situation, absolutely. Didn't know how she felt. Awesome. All right, thank you so much. So now you have taken three perspectives in an incident. It is an incident of conflict. There is a conflict between Betsy and Robert and Dennis. There is a conflict. Now, there are three perspectives, and all three of them are in the dark about each other's perspectives. right? Now, this is why conflicts continue, because we never really take the effort to understand. We never really take the effort to look at other people's perspective. So thank you for participating. Beautiful. All of your answers are spot on. Again, let me encourage you. Next time you're in a conflict, even though you just want to be right and you are right, maybe you are right, and with your whole body you want to be, you want to be right and stay right, take a pause, slow it down, and just try to see at least one point of view from their side, right? All right, so far so good. Are you with me? Are you all with me? Yes, no? Because I'm, yes. Yes, yes. Okay, I'm getting yeses. I need that encouragement, my dear friends. I need that encouragement, right? See, I'm a person, a trainer who stays on the stages and trains. And getting feedback is very important for me. Thank you, thank you. And also, it's a trick that we all teachers and trainers would do to ensure nobody's falling asleep, right? At least some of you are awake, and thank you for that. And I always say 2 to 4 is the graveyard shift of public speaking. Like, it's the time we all go to sleep during the daytime. Anyway, thank you. All right, let's move on to the third. And the third is the most important, because I'll be circling back with everything I said so far. And this is the crux of the matter, right? And that is called goal setting. Now, you might be wondering, why is Sony talking about goal setting in a conflict? What is the goal setting in a conflict, right? Is there a goal setting in a conflict? Is there a goal setting in a conflict? Is there a goal setting in a conflict? You can say yes, you can say no, or you can even put a blank face. What the hell is Sony speaking, right? Yes, sometimes, yes, for solutions. All right, cool, cool. There is a goal setting. Okay, now let me share with you what I mean by goal setting, right? So what I mean by goal setting, I think that is the crux of my message from the start, that we started at 2:15. And the crux is, what do you want to do? Do you want to tear down, or do you want to build up? That's the first question. That is the goal. And once we understand that goal, when we understand that goal and we are clear about that goal, then we would take steps to achieve that. So let me help you understand this a little bit further through an exercise. Again, participate with me. So here are problems. Okay, I'm just going to share. I think I'll share one or two, because this is slightly more important. At least let's do one. What time is it? It's 3:10. Okay, let's do one first, right? Let me see which one is better. Okay. Um, yeah, Bobby gets his. Let me see if this is the better one. Yeah, this is like absolutely apt for our session. Bobby gets his maths test back. He gets his result of his maths test and sees that he has gotten a B. Right. As he was looking it over, he noticed that the teacher has added up the scores wrong and that he should have gotten an A. Now, before we get into the question, trust me, I have not been this person. And many people who know me will be like, okay, I got a B, okay, I'm happy with that, and I went. But there are definitely students. Some of you might be that student. Some of you will be dealing with students like that in the future. They will look at your scores. They will be like, teacher, I was supposed to get an A. You only gave me a B. Have you experienced this? Give me a thumbs up if you have. If you are one of that person, you can give me a smiley also, like, yes, I am one of that, right? There's nothing wrong with it, right? You deserve what you need to get. Hey, Anju, you are smiling. Thank you for being honest, right? So, teacher, you gave me a B where I'm supposed to get a A. Now, if Bobby thinks, now this is where goal setting comes to very important. If, oh, I've got more people smiling, my God. Okay, there are more people who want the A, right? Awesome. So the rest of you are like, okay, B, C, doesn't matter as long as I'm out of here, right? All right, cool. Uh, um, if Bobby thinks that my teacher did that on purpose, she doesn't want me to get an A, what might be his goal? Let me repeat, if Bobby thinks the teacher intentionally gave me a B because the teacher doesn't want to give me an A, what might Bobby's goal be? You can put it in your own words. What will Bobby's goal be? Think about it. What would Bobby's goal be when he interacts with the teacher? In every interaction Bobby has with the teacher, what is Bobby's goal? To tarnish the reputation. Wow, awesome. Tear down. Yes, tear down is one of the words that I've used, but similar to that, if you can specifically think from your own experience, what might the goal be? Tear down, yes, absolutely, I agree with it. Tarnish the reputation of the teacher and the institution. Very strong for that. Yes, he will shout and be angry. His goal, yeah, his behavior would be shout and be angry. What is his goal? I'm looking at the goal. Hate the teacher. Again, hate the teacher is an expression. What might be the goal? Like tarnishing, tear down are goals. Are there any other goals? Teacher dislikes me, again, is a feeling. What might be the goal Bobby will be operate? The goal, he will hate. Wow, hate maths is an outcome. Yes, and we have all been there. I'm so sorry to say this to teachers. Maths is become, what do you say, one mess for many people. Yes, he will hate maths, will study hard to sure next time. Okay, the goal, no option, right? Okay, yes, I think Ansi is close to another point of view. That is, his goal might be to outsmart the teacher, right? Or outprove the teacher, or as said, tarnish the teacher. These are the goals, right? Bobby could reach this goal by how? Like, for example, tarnishing the teacher or outsmarting the teacher. Now the next question is, he has got a goal. The goal is, let's take one example, to tarnish the teacher. Now how will he achieve that goal? Think about it. What are the different ways in which Bobby will achieve that goal of tarnishing the teacher? Any thoughts? I know we are digging in deeper. Work hard to tarnish the teacher. The goal of Bobby is to tarnish the teacher. So how do you think he might achieve that goal? Avoid conversations. Okay, work hard. Distancing. Saying to other friends that she did not know how to calculate. Shapna, beautiful. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Yes, that is one way he will achieve his goal, because his goal is not whether he'll get an A or B. Please do understand that his goal is to tarnish the teacher. That's why goal setting is very important in a conflict. The goal is to tarnish the teacher. Projection, again, a very psychological term. Projection is a huge psychological term. Yes. Disturb the class. Thank you, Shiva, for that. Yes, disturb the class. Yes, he will achieve his goal by disturbing the class, right? I know this exercise has become a little bit more difficult. It's okay, you can be at home and you can no do the same exercise as an example from your own life, in your own student's life. You can do this exercise. First, slow down and think about the cool or hot, then think about the other person's perspective and think about what might the goal be. Why am I doing what I'm going to do? Is it that I want to get an A, or is it that I want to tarnish the teacher? Because if you want to get an A, the actions you take will be very different from if your goal is to tarnish the teacher. Do you agree with that at least? Yes. Just to give comparison, if your goal is to tarnish the teacher, the steps you take will be different from if you want to get an A, the steps you will take. These two have two different steps. Yes, yes, I'm getting a lot of yes. Thank you for that. So do realize the importance of goal setting. Take it into your own life. In every conflict, ask yourself, what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Is it to tear down, to build? And take it specific to that situation. What am I hoping to get out of this? Right? What am I hoping to get out of it? And once you are clear what you want to get out of this, you would take steps towards it. That is, if you want to. But then again, as I said, if you want to start the conflict resolution process, where do we start? By accepting I don't need to be right, by accepting I may be the problem, by accepting I don't know everything about the world, right? So these are the three exercises. The next is choosing the path. Once you decide what your goal is, you agree on the goal, you choose a path. Okay, there might be three different ways in which you can achieve your goal in conflict resolution, and you can decide a path to take. And the fifth step is to re-evaluate it and re-strategize it, because I'm not guaranteeing that because you do the first three, you're going to get the results you want, because you might have to evaluate and re-strategize, right? So the five things are, one is to slow down, take the other person's perspective, Set the real goal. What do you want out of this conflict? Choose the path, because once you set the goal, you would have the idea what you want to do. And then evaluate if you're getting the result. If you're not getting the result, then you need to re-strategize, right? So these are some of the ways is or some of the ways in which you can start off the conflict resolution journey. Does this make sense so far? Are you all with me? Are you all with me, or have I lost you? Okay, I'm getting few yeses. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for the yeses. As I said, yeses matters a lot. And like all teachers, the classic statement is either the cliche, not the classic statement. The cliche is either you have understood everything I've said or you have understood nothing. And because I don't have a single face on my screen, I have no idea where I stand. But with your participation, I'm so glad that many of you are responding. Each time I'm seeing new names. Thank you so much for participating. I'm just loving the energy that you're sharing to me, and I'm so grateful for that, right? So I think we will wind up and bring close to our journey together. um, I just want to share this because I left a story ended about Joshua, and many years later, uh, uh, me and Joshua did reconnect. We put our differences apart. I'm not saying we have a great relationship and we are best friends like we were in the past, but at least we have a relationship to at least reach out to each other if we want some help. And why that was very important for me is initially I used to be active in trying to reach out. I used to tell him we should catch up again, or okay, this is what happened. I used to be right. I used to paint my point of view, saying that this is what happened, and I used to try to reach out. Then I stopped for many years. Then through a mutual friend, we connected again, right? And what I've realized, these are the other two secrets that I want to share with you. Over time, the potency of the conflict does go away, provided you're willing to let go, right? The potency of the problem. That's one secret that I want to share. Give time. The second thing that happens is be ready to extend an olive branch. What I mean by that is there are times where you would be actively giving branches, and after few times you are like, I'm sending branches, that person is not taking. Maybe that person is not ready to take it. But when that person becomes ready and when they extend a branch, don't be like, nah, I gave so much chance, now I don't want. That is something that I wanted to share with you. Over time, give time, it loses the potency. The vigorosity of the emotion does lose its potency. And be ready when somebody extends their brand. So this is what I wanted to share with you as an additional note on conflict, and managing conflict. Now, I know some of you in the session might be thinking, Sony spoke about stress and he has not said a word about stress. I'm very sure there will at least be one person thinking, Sony said conflict and stress. Where is stress, right? Right? Here is stress. Here is everybody, for all of you waiting for stress. Let me say this one sentence: conflict breeds stress. That's it. That's all I wanted to share about stress. Because I can talk a billion words about stress, but you break down stress, many a time it is a conflict within yourself. Many a time it's a conflict with somebody else. Many a time it is an outcome of a conflict with the world. Conflict exponentially multiplies stress. There might be other forms of stress, but in general, conflict conflict exponentially multiplies stress. Remember this: stress is an outcome of conflict with self, with others, or state of life, right? So when you learn to mitigate conflict, you can definitely bring down stress, right? So now, since you know how to manage conflict, or some tools are with you, now you can also manage some of your stress, right? But the question is, how many of you actually want peace, right, over being right? Let me repeat that. How many of you actually want peace over being right? That's the question that I repeated throughout the session, because being right is many times the fundamental problem, right? So as I close, let me just share this. If you are determined that you are right, and in every conflict in life, like if you are like, you listen to me for the last 2 hours and you're like, Sony, yeah, it all is good, but I'm right. I'm always right. Then I am truly sorry. I wasted 2 hours of your life. And I'm so sorry that I wasted your time. But if you feel that I don't need to be right all the time. And if you feel you can see beyond being right, then use the ideas that I've shared with you. Nothing works just by theoretically having the knowledge. That's why I took you through a practical exercise, so that you will have at least a tool to bank on. Try it out, blend it with your own style. Just because I said don't do it, take it, blend it with your own style, read more on it, learn more on it. And if you want my help, like personal coaching or any of my programs, you can reach out to me. Celebratinglife.in, that is celebratinglife.in is my community. This is a community where we are trying to share our own journeys. Like, you can share your pain, your experiences, your conflicts, your stress. I invite you to join the family. Go to celebratinglife.in, join our family, and we would give you the opportunity to share your success stories or some challenge that you have overcome. The purpose is not only to highlight who you are, but rather to help others who are struggling. See, many times we might have overcome something, but we keep it to ourselves. We don't share it because we think nobody wants to listen to our story. So what I'm trying to share is that many times what I've observed in coaching with my clients, it is not the big things, or when I do training, it's not the big things that change people's life. It is a small thing. In many of my coaching sessions, what I notice is, especially when I have group coaching, like about 7 to 8 people together, I have group coaching sessions. One of the feedbacks I always get is, I never knew others were struggling like this, similar to me. I never knew people can be so supportive. So what we are trying to do with this Celebrating Life is to help others share their thoughts, so that we can motivate and help and encourage others. So if you want any help, you can go to celebratinglife.in and you can get in touch with me, right? So I encourage you to do that. Please share me your stories, so that I can also share with others the stories you say, so that I can motivate other people, right? One of the articles on my website is about a friend of mine who restarted cycling. He was a big cyclist enthusiast, and he stopped cycling. Today he messaged me, thank you. He calls me Cheta. He's like, Cheta, thank you for reminding me of my cycling passion and making me write that article. Now he's done a cross country cycling after 3 years of not doing it. So I just want to use this platform to build happiness in life. So join the platform. Let's build a happy world together. So once again, thank you for your time, your participation. I love the participation, and I leave you with this thought: think beyond being right. Thank you so much.
If anyone have any doubt, please ask. Is anybody? Okay. Thank you, Sony sir, for your valuable words. Let's wind up the session. I call upon Mr. Akhil Raj for vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vidya. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. A lovely and warm good afternoon to our most valued guest, Mrs. Sony Thomas, our beloved principal, Dr. Maria Mamatima, program convener of the webinar, Dr. Ali Molivagis, student convener, Ms. Arya Ajidan, respected teachers and beloved friends. It's a matter of pride for me that I am proposing a vote of thanks for this meeting. I, on behalf of the Pete family, first of all propose my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God. I would like to thank the resource person, Mr. Sony Thomas, for delivering such a wonderful talk on the topic, Conflict is a Choice. Sir explained us how to overcome incompatibility between two opinions and how to prevent conflict, how to overcome conflict, and what are the reasons behind conflict. Sony sir shared some stories, situation to explain conflict and explained how to practice school thoughts, etc. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this informative talk. A big thanks to the respected principal, Dr. Mariama Matimam, for organizing such a webinar. I would like to thank the program convener, Dr. Ali Mulivagis, for the welcome speech. Thanks to Ms. Arya Ajidan, the student convener, for her sincere effort. I also thanks Ms. Remya Vivi, College Union Arts Club Secretary, for introducing the resource person. And a lot of thanks to Ms. Vidya Binoy, the host of the webinar, for her excellent presentation. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Velayudan Nair sir, organizing such a very useful series of talks. Thanks to Dr. Sony Mary Varghese, the union advisor, and all the union members. Thanks to all the faculties of Pete Memorial. And I want to express my heartful gratitude to all participants present today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Akhil. I request you all to join the national anthem. Your feedback form is given in the chat box. Please fill it and submit. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience and participation.